Tomorrow changes everything, and I need you to understand that I'm not being dramatic when I say this. March 16th, 2026 represents something that astrologers have been tracking for years. A convergence so rare and so powerful that it only happens once every 12 years. But this time, it's different. This time, the alignment carries an intensity that hasn't been seen in our lifetimes. Right now, as you're watching this video, 3 of the most significant forces in the cosmos are moving into perfect position. Jupiter, the planet that governs expansion and abundance. Venus, the celestial body that rules money, value, and attraction. And the North Node, the mathematical point in space that ancient astrologers called the head of the dragon, the marker of destiny itself. When these 3 energies converge on March 16th, they create what I call the Great Multiplier, a cosmic window where financial energy doesn't just flow, it floods. I know some of you might be skeptical. You might be thinking this sounds too good to be true, or that astrology can't possibly influence something as concrete as money. But here's what I want you to consider. Every major financial market in the world tracks lunar cycles. The most successful traders on Wall Street use planetary alignments to time their investments. Ancient civilizations built their entire economic calendars around celestial movements. This isn't mysticism. This is pattern recognition on a cosmic scale. And the pattern forming right now is extraordinary. Let me explain exactly what's happening in the sky, and more importantly, what it means for your bank account, your career, and your financial future. Because whether you're aware of it or not, the universe is about to make you an offer. The question is whether you'll be ready to receive it. Jupiter entered Gemini on May 25th, 2025, beginning a year-long journey through the sign of communication, connection, and multiplication. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system, and in astrology, it represents the principle of expansion. Whatever Jupiter touches grows. When Jupiter moves through Gemini, it specifically amplifies opportunities related to information, networking, multiple income streams, and intellectual pursuits. This is why so many people have noticed an increase in side hustles, online businesses, and collaborative ventures since last May. But Jupiter's influence is broad. It creates potential, but it doesn't always deliver results on its own. Think of Jupiter as a cosmic fertilizer. It enriches the soil, but you still need the right seeds and the right conditions for growth. This is where Venus comes in. Venus entered Taurus on March 4th, 2026. And this is significant because Taurus is Venus's home sign. When a planet is in its home sign, its power is amplified. It operates at maximum strength, with full access to its natural abilities. Venus in Taurus is not about fleeting attraction or superficial beauty. This is Venus in her most grounded, practical, and materially focused expression. Taurus is an earth sign, concerned with tangible resources, physical security, and lasting value. When Venus moves through Taurus, the universe's attention turns to money, possessions, comfort, and the things that provide stability in the physical world. This transit, which lasts until March 30th, creates a powerful window for financial manifestation, but only if you understand how to work with the energy. Now here's where it gets really interesting. On March 16th, Jupiter in Gemini forms an exact trine, a harmonious 120-degree angle, with Venus in Taurus. In astrology, a trine is considered one of the most beneficial aspects two planets can form. It represents seas, flow, and natural alignment. When Jupiter and Venus trine each other, the planet of expansion and the planet of money shake hands. Opportunities multiply, resources flow, doors that were previously closed suddenly swing open. But we're not done yet, because on this same day, Both Jupiter and Venus are also forming powerful aspects to the North Node in Pisces. The North Node is not a physical planet. It's a mathematical point where the moon's orbit crosses the ecliptic, the path of the sun. Ancient astrologers observed that eclipses always occur near the nodes, and they recognized these points as gateways of fate, places where the invisible hand of destiny becomes visible in human affairs. The North Node represents your soul's evolutionary direction, the path you're meant to walk in this lifetime. When major planets align with the North Node, fated events tend to occur. Opportunities appear that feel destined. People enter your life who change your trajectory. Circumstances align in ways that seem too perfect to be coincidence. The North Node doesn't create these events. It reveals them. It pulls back the curtain on the opportunities that were always meant for you. On March 16th, Jupiter will be approaching a conjunction with the North Node, while Venus forms a supportive sextile. This creates what astrologers call a grand trine configuration, a triangle of harmonious energy connecting 3 points in the sky. When this triangle involves Jupiter, Venus, and the North Node, the result is a cosmic amplification of abundance, attraction, and destiny. This is the Great Multiplier. This is why March 16th is not just another day. Let me give you some context about why this matters so much. The last time Jupiter and Venus formed a trine, while both were connected to the North Node, was in 2014. Do you remember what was happening in your life in 2014? For many people, that year marked a significant turning point. New careers began, businesses launched, relationships formed that lead to long-term partnerships. Financial breakthroughs occurred that seemed to come out of nowhere. I've been studying astrology for over 15 years, and I've tracked these patterns across thousands of individual charts. What I've found is undeniable. When Jupiter and Venus align with the nodes, money moves, not in small ways, in life-changing ways. I'm talking about people receiving unexpected inheritances, job offers that double their salary, business ideas that suddenly take off after years of struggle, lottery wins, real estate deals that fall into place at the last minute, investments that multiply in value seemingly overnight. Now in the tolerance, I want to be very clear about something. This is not a guarantee that you'll win the lottery on March 16th. Astrology doesn't work like a vending machine where you put in the right date and money falls out. What astrology reveals is timing. It shows you when the cosmic weather is favorable for certain types of activities. March 16th is a day when the universe is particularly receptive to fine tension, when the energetic pathways between desire and manifestation are wide open. Think of it this way. Imagine you're trying to sail a boat across a lake. You can row as hard as you want, but if the wind is against you, progress will be slow and exhausting. But if you wait for the right wind, if you time your journey to align with favorable conditions, suddenly the same effort produces dramatically different results. The boat glides. The journey becomes effortless. You arrive at your destination faster than you thought possible. March 16th is that favorable wind. It's a day when the cosmic currents are flowing in the direction of abundance. But you still have to set your sail. You still have to take action. The universe meets you halfway, but it requires your participation. This is why understanding the energy is so important, because if you know what's happening, you can position yourself to receive it. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is a graphic designer who had been freelancing for 3 years, barely making ends meet. She was talented, but she couldn't seem to break through to the level of income she needed. In April 2014, during the last major Jupiter-Venus node alignment, Sarah decided to take a chance. She invested in a new website, reached out to 3 dream clients she'd been too intimidated to contact, and raised her rates by 30%. Within 2 weeks, all 3 clients said yes. Within a month, she had more work than she could handle. Within 6 months, she had hired 2 assistants and was earning more than she'd made in the previous 3 years combined. When I asked her what changed, she said she didn't know. She just felt like it was time. She felt pulled to take action in a way she couldn't explain. That pull was the North Node. That timing was Jupiter and Venus opening the door. Or consider Michael, a middle manager at a tech company who had been passed over for promotion twice. During the 2014 alignment, he happened to attend a conference he almost skipped. At that conference, he met someone who introduced him to someone else, who mentioned a position at a different company. 3 conversations later, Michael had a job offer that included a 40% salary increase and equity in a startup that would eventually be acquired for millions. Was it luck? Maybe. But here's what I've learned after tracking these patterns for years. Luck isn't random. Luck is preparation meeting opportunity at the right time. And certain times are more opportune than others. March 16th, 2026 is one of those times. The cosmic conditions are aligned in a way that makes the improbable suddenly probable. The universe is dealing cards, and the deck is stacked in favor of those who are paying attention. Now, I need to address something important. Some of you watching this might be thinking, if this is so powerful, why doesn't everyone experience it the same way? Why do some people have massive breakthroughs while others notice nothing at all? This is a crucial question, and the answer reveals something fundamental about how cosmic energy actually works. Astrology is not a one-size-fits-all system. The planets affect each person differently based on their individual birth chart. Your birth chart is a snapshot of where all the planets were positioned at the exact moment you were born. It's like a cosmic fingerprint, unique to you. When current planetary movements, called transits, interact with your birth chart, they activate different areas of your life. For some people, the March 16th alignment will directly activate their second house, the area of the chart that governs income and personal resources. For others, it might activate the 10th house of career and public recognition, or the 8th house of shared resources and investments. The specific impact depends on where Jupiter, Venus, and the North Node fall in relation to your personal planets and angles. This is why I always say that astrology is both universal and personal. The energy is available to everyone, but it expresses differently for each individual. However, there are 3 zodiac signs that are positioned to receive the most direct and powerful impact from the March 16th alignment. If your sun, moon, or rising sign is in one of these 3 signs, pay very close attention. The universe is about to hand you something significant. The first sign that will experience the most profound impact from the March 16th alignment is Gemini. If you're a Gemini sun, moon, or rising, Jupiter has been moving through your first house since May 2025. The first house represents your identity, your physical body, your personal presence in the world. When Jupiter transits the first house, it's like the universe is saying, it's your turn. Everything about you expands. Your confidence grows. Your visibility increases. Opportunities seem to find you rather than you having to chase them. But here's what makes March 16th so special for Gemini. On this day, Jupiter in your sign forms that exact trine to Venus in Taurus, which for most Geminis falls in the 12th house. Now, the 12th house has a mysterious reputation in astrology. It's associated with hidden things, the subconscious, spiritual matters, and what some astrologers call divine intervention. When Venus activates your 12th house, while Jupiter amplifies your first house, you're essentially receiving invisible support that manifests in visible ways. I've seen this play out dozens of times. A Gemini client of mine, named Jennifer, had been struggling to get her consulting business off the ground for 2 years. She was doing everything right on paper. Good marketing, solid services, competitive pricing. But the clients just weren't coming. During a similar Jupiter transit through Gemini in 2012, something shifted. She started receiving referrals from people she'd never met. A blog post she wrote 3 years earlier suddenly went viral. A company reached out to her because someone had recommended her in a private conversation she knew nothing about. Within 3 months, her income had tripled. When I looked at her chart, Venus was transiting her 12th house, creating that same trine to Jupiter in her first house. The 12th house was working behind the scenes, arranging circumstances she couldn't see, while Jupiter in her first house made sure she was ready to receive when those opportunities arrived. This is the magic of March 16th for Gemini. You don't have to force anything. You just have to be present, be visible, and trust that the universe is working on your behalf in ways you can't yet perceive. The second sign that's positioned for a major financial breakthrough is Taurus. If you're a Taurus sun, moon, or rising, Venus is currently moving through your first house. And this is huge. Venus rules Taurus, which means when Venus transits Taurus, it's operating at maximum power. Your natural magnetism is amplified. Your ability to attract resources, people, and opportunities is heightened. You become a walking magnet for abundance. But what makes March 16th extraordinary for Taurus is that Jupiter in Gemini is transiting your second house, the house of money, income, and material resources. The second house is literally the money house in astrology. It governs your earning capacity, your relationship with possessions, and your sense of financial security. When Jupiter, the planet of expansion and multiplication, moves through your second house, it opens up new revenue streams. It increases your earning potential. It brings opportunities to grow your wealth in ways you hadn't considered before. Now combine that with Venus in your first house forming a perfect trine to Jupiter in your second house. This is what I call the golden handshake. Your personal presence, your charm, your ability to present yourself. All of this is directed to your income potential. On March 16th, these two forces merge. What you are and what you earn become aligned in a way that feels effortless. Let me tell you about David, a Taurus rising I worked with during the last major Venus-Jupiter alignment in his chart. David was a real estate agent who had been in the business for 5 years, making decent money but nothing spectacular. During the alignment, he decided to host an open house for a luxury property he'd been struggling to sell. He didn't expect much. The market was slow. The property was overpriced. But something told him to show up and give it his best effort. At that open house, he met a couple who weren't even looking to buy that particular property. They were investors scouting the neighborhood. They were so impressed by David's knowledge and presentation that they asked him to represent them in purchasing 3 properties over the next 6 months. Those 3 deals earned David more commission than he'd made in the previous 2 years combined. And it all started because he showed up on the right day, during the right cosmic alignment, with Venus amplifying his presence and Jupiter expanding his income potential. For Taurus, March 16th is a day to put yourself out there. Attend that networking event. Make that pitch. Ask for that raise. Launch that product. The universe is primed to say yes to you. But you have to ask the question. You have to take the action. The cosmic weather is perfect, but you still have to step outside. The third sign that's positioned for extraordinary financial impact is Pisces. If you're a Pisces sun, moon, or rising, the North Node has been transiting your first house since July 2023, and it will continue through January 2025. The North Node in your first house is one of the most significant transits you can experience in your lifetime. It happens once every 18 years. And it represents a complete reorientation of your life path. The North Node is pulling you toward your destiny. It's asking you to step into a new version of yourself, to embrace qualities and opportunities you may have previously avoided or underestimated. For Pisces, this has been a period of profound personal transformation. You've been shedding old identities, releasing patterns that no longer serve you, and discovering strengths you didn't know you had. But here's what makes March 16th so powerful for Pisces. On this day, Jupiter is moving toward an exact conjunction with the North Node in your sign, while Venus forms a supportive sextile from Taurus, which for most Pisces falls in the third house of communication, learning, and local connections. This creates a triple activation. Your destiny is being amplified by Jupiter. Your ability to communicate your value is being enhanced by Venus. And the North Node is saying, this is your moment. I want to share a story about Rebecca, a Pisces sun who experienced a similar North Node transit. Rebecca had been working as a nurse for 15 years, and while she loved helping people, she felt creatively stifled. She had always dreamed of writing, but she'd convinced herself it was impractical. During her North Node transit, she started a blog about healthcare from a nurse's perspective. She didn't expect anything to come of it. She was just writing for herself. But then something unexpected happened. A literary agent discovered her blog and reached out. Within a year, Rebecca had a book deal. Within 2 years, she was a published author doing speaking engagements at medical conferences. Within 3 years, she had left nursing entirely and was making more money as a writer and consultant than she ever had as a nurse. The North Node had pulled her toward her true calling, and Jupiter had amplified it into a career she never imagined possible. For Pisces, March 16th is a day to trust your intuition. If you've been feeling pulled towards something new, something that doesn't make logical sense but feels right in your soul, this is your sign to move toward it. The North Node doesn't lead you astray. It leads you home. And on March 16th, Jupiter is making sure that home is abundant. Now, even if you're not one of these 3 signs, the March 16th alignment still affects you. The energy is universal, even if the impact is more personalized. But there's something I need to explain about how to actually work with this energy, because understanding the astrology is only half the equation. The other half is knowing what to do with the information. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make with powerful astrological transits is passivity. They learn about the alignment, they get excited, and then they sit back and wait for the universe to deliver. But that's not how cosmic energy works. The planets create conditions, they open doors, they remove obstacles, but you still have to walk through the door. You still have to take the action. Think of it this way. Imagine you're standing in a field, and you want to fly a kite. You can have the most beautiful kite in the world, perfectly designed and constructed, but if there's no wind, that kite isn't going anywhere. You can run as fast as you want, but without the wind, the kite stays grounded. Now imagine the wind picks up. Suddenly, the same kite that was impossible to fly moments ago is effortlessly into the sky. The kite didn't change. Your effort didn't change. What changed was the conditions. March 16th is that wind. It's the cosmic condition that makes your efforts produce exponentially greater results. But you still have to hold the string. You still have to be in the field. You still have to take the action that allows the wind to catch your kite. This is why I always emphasize that astrology is a tool for timing, not a replacement for action. So what specific actions should you take on March 16th? Let me give you a framework that works regardless of your zodiac sign. First, focus on financial intention. This is a day to get crystal clear about what you want to create in your financial life. Not vague wishes like I want more money, but specific, tangible goals. I want to earn $10,000 in the next 3 months. I want to launch my business by June. I want to pay off $15,000 in debt by the end of the year. The specificity matters because it gives the universe something concrete to work with. Jupiter amplifies, but it needs a target. Venus attracts, but it needs to know what you're attracting. The North Node reveals destiny, but you have to define what that destiny looks like for you. On March 16th, Write down your financial goals. Be bold. This is not the day for modest aspirations. Jupiter doesn't do small. Venus doesn't do scarcity. The North Node doesn't lead you toward mediocrity. Second, take one concrete action toward a financial goal. This doesn't have to be huge. It can be as simple as sending an email to a potential client, updating your resume, researching an investment opportunity, asking someone for advice about a business idea. The action itself is less important than the fact that you're moving energy. You're signaling to the universe that you're ready to receive. I cannot stress this enough. The universe responds to movement. When you take action, even small action, you create momentum. And momentum attracts opportunity. I've seen this play out countless times. Someone sends one email on a powerful astrological day, and that email leads to a conversation, which leads to a meeting, which leads to a contract, which leads to a six-figure deal. But it all started with one email, one action, one moment of courage. Third, pay attention to synchronicities. On days when the cosmic energy is this strong, the universe communicates through signs, symbols, and meaningful coincidences. You might overhear a conversation that gives you an idea. You might see a number sequence that catches your attention. You might run into someone you haven't seen in years who mentions an opportunity. These are not random events. They're breadcrumbs. They're the universe showing you the path. The key is to stay present and aware. Don't dismiss these moments as coincidence. Follow the thread. If something catches your attention, investigate it. If someone reaches out unexpectedly, respond. If an opportunity appears that seems too good to be true, at least explore it. The North Node works through synchronicity. It arranges circumstances that feel fated because they are fated, but you have to be awake enough to notice them. Fourth, practice gratitude for what you already have. This might seem counterintuitive when we're talking about attracting more abundance, but gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for manifestation. When you appreciate what you have, you signal to the universe that you're a good steward of resources. You demonstrate that you can handle more. Venus in Taurus especially responds to gratitude because Taurus is all about appreciation of the material world. On March 16th, take a few minutes to acknowledge the abundance that already exists in your life. Maybe it's not where you want it to be yet, but there's always something to appreciate. A roof over your head, food in your refrigerator, people who care about you, skills and talents you've developed, experiences that have shaped you. When you focus on what you have, you create an energetic frequency of abundance, and that frequency attracts more of the same. Be open to unexpected pathways. This is crucial. Sometimes the universe delivers abundance in ways we don't anticipate. You might be focused on getting a raise at your current job, but the real opportunity comes through a side project. You might be trying to sell a product, but the money comes through a partnership you didn't see coming. The North Node especially works this way. It doesn't always take you where you think you're going. It takes you where you need to be. I need to continue from where the second part ended and write the final third of the script, maintaining the same tone and style, and providing a strong conclusion. This is the final opportunity to be flexible and trust the process. Don't force outcomes. Don't cling to specific methods. Stay open to how the universe wants to deliver your abundance. Sometimes the path that seems like a detour is actually the shortcut. Now let me address something that I know is on many of your minds. What if March 16th comes and goes and nothing happens? What if you take all these actions and you don't see immediate results? This is where understanding the nature of cosmic timing becomes essential. Astrological alignments don't work like witches. They're more like seeds being planted. The energy of March 16th creates a beginning, not necessarily an instant conclusion. When Jupiter and Venus align with the North Node, they set events in motion. They open energetic pathways. They create conditions that allow opportunities to develop. But the manifestation of those opportunities often unfolds over weeks or even months. Think of it like dropping a stone into a pond. The stone hits the water on March 16th, but the ripples continue spreading outward long after that initial impact. I've tracked enough of these transits to know that the effects typically manifest in 3 waves. The first wave happens within 48 hours of the exact alignment. This is when you might notice immediate synchronicities, unexpected contacts, or sudden insights about financial opportunities. The energy is fresh and potent, and for some people, tangible results appear almost instantly. The second wave occurs within 2 to 3 weeks. This is when the seeds planted on March 16th begin to sprout. Conversations you had lead to meetings. Ideas you explored start taking shape. Actions you took begin producing visible results. This is often when the real breakthroughs happen because you've had time to follow through on the initial impulses and opportunities that appeared. The third wave can extend for up to 3 months. This is the long-term manifestation of the alignment. Deals close. Projects launch. Income streams stabilize. The full impact of the cosmic energy becomes clear. Some of the most significant financial transformations I've witnessed didn't happen on the day of the alignment itself. They happened in the weeks and months that followed, as the person continued to work with the energy and follow the path that opened up. So if March 16th passes, and you don't win the lottery or receive a surprise inheritance, don't assume the energy didn't work. Stay alert. Stay active. Keep following the breadcrumbs. The universe is still arranging circumstances on your behalf. Your job is to remain receptive and continue taking aligned action. There's another dimension to this alignment that I haven't mentioned yet, and it's perhaps the most important one. The North Node in Pisces is asking all us to develop a different relationship with abundance. Pisces is the sign of surrender, faith, and trust in something greater than ourselves. It's the sign that understands we're not separate from the universe. We're part of it. And when we align with that truth, when we stop trying to control every outcome and instead learn to flow with the cosmic current, abundance becomes natural. This is radically different from the hustle culture mentality that dominates so much of modern financial advice. We're told to grind harder, work longer, push through obstacles with sheer force of will. And while effort certainly matters, the North Node in Pisces is teaching us that there's another way. There's a way of moving through the world that's less about force and more about alignment. Less about control and more about trust. I'm not suggesting you sit on your couch and wait for money to fall from the sky. That's not what Pisces energy is about. What I'm suggesting is that you learn to recognize when you're swimming against the current and when you're swimming with it. There are times to push, and there are times to allow. There are times to make things happen, and there are times to let things happen. The wisdom is knowing the difference. March 16th is a day to let things happen. It's a day to trust that the universe is working in your favor. It's a day to release the need to figure everything out and instead surrender to the intelligence that's orchestrating events beyond your conscious awareness. This doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're receptive. There's a profound difference. Let me share one more story that illustrates this principle. I worked with a client named Thomas who was a Pisces rising experiencing his North Node return. Thomas was a financial analyst who had built his entire career on logic, data, and rational decision-making. He was good at his job, but he felt empty. The money was fine, but something was missing. During his North Node transit, he kept having this recurring dream about teaching. He would wake up with this inexplicable urge to share what he knew with others. For months, he ignored it. It didn't make sense. Teaching would mean a pay cut. It would mean starting over. It would mean leaving the security he'd spent years building. But the pull kept getting stronger. Finally, during a Jupiter-Venus alignment similar to the one we're experiencing now, Thomas made a decision. He started a YouTube channel teaching financial literacy to young adults. He didn't quit his job. He just started creating content on weekends. Within 6 months, his channel had 50,000 subscribers. Within a year, he had sponsorship deals that matched his analyst's salary. Within 18 months, he had launched an online course that generated more passive income than he'd ever made actively working. He eventually left his corporate job, but by that point, he was earning 3 times what he'd made as an analyst. And more importantly, he felt fulfilled. He was doing what his soul had been calling him to do all along. The North Node had been pulling him toward teaching from the beginning, but he had to surrender his attachment to how he thought his career should look. He had to trust that following his intuition, even when it seemed illogical, would lead him somewhere better than where logic alone could take him. That's the lesson of Pisces. That's the gift of the North Node. And that's the opportunity available to all of us on March 16th. Now I want to talk about something that might make some of you uncomfortable, but it's too important not to address. One of the reasons people struggle to receive abundance, even during powerful cosmic alignments, is because they're carrying unconscious blocks around money. These blocks are usually forwarded in childhood, passed down through family patterns, or absorbed from cultural conditioning. And until you identify and release these blocks, no amount of cosmic support can fully break through. Common money blocks include beliefs like money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. I don't deserve to be wealthy. There's never enough. Or I have to work hard to earn money. These beliefs operate in the background of your consciousness, sabotaging your efforts without you even realizing it. They're like invisible walls that keep abundance at arm's length. The North Node in Pisces offers a profound opportunity to dissolve these walls. Pisces is the sign of dissolution, of letting go, of releasing what no longer serves. During this transit, and especially on March 16th when Jupiter amplifies the North Node's power, you have access to a kind of cosmic therapy. The universe is willing to help you release old patterns, but you have to be willing to look at them honestly. Here's a simple exercise you can do on March 16th. Sit quietly with a journal and ask yourself this question. What do I believe about money that might not be true? Write down whatever comes up without censoring yourself. You might be surprised by what emerges. Beliefs you didn't even know you held. Stories you inherited from your parents or grandparents. Fears that have been running your financial life from the shadows. Once you've identified these beliefs, ask yourself another question. What would I prefer to believe instead? And then write down new beliefs that feel more aligned with the abundant life you want to create. Beliefs like money flows to me easily. I am worthy of financial prosperity. There is more than enough for everyone. Or wealth allows me to serve others more fully. These new beliefs won't feel true immediately. That's okay. You're planting seeds. You're reprogramming your subconscious. And on a day when the cosmic energy is as supportive as it is on March 16th, those seeds have a much better chance of taking root. Venus in Taurus is particularly helpful for this work because Taurus is all about self-worth. Venus in Taurus says you are valuable simply because you exist. You don't have to earn your worth. You don't have to prove yourself. You are inherently deserving of comfort, security, and abundance. When you internalize this truth, when you really feel it in your bones, your entire relationship with money transforms. You stop chasing it from a place of lack and start attracting it from a place of worthiness. I also want to address the role of action versus manifestation. There's a lot of confusion in spiritual communities about whether you should focus on taking action or focus on manifesting through visualization intention. The truth is, you need both. They're not opposites. They're partners. Manifestation without action is fantasy. Action without alignment is exhausting. But when you combine clear intention with inspired action, magic happens. March 16th is a day to set powerful intentions and then take at least one concrete step toward those intentions. The intention creates the energetic blueprint. The action signals to the universe that you're serious. Together, they create momentum. And momentum is what carries you from where you are to where you want to be. Here's what I recommend. On the morning of March 16th, before you check your phone or get caught up in the day's demands, spend 10 minutes in quiet reflection. Visualize your financial goals as if they've already happened. Feel the emotions you would feel if you were living that reality right now. Gratitude, relief, excitement, joy. Let those feelings fill your body. This is not wishful thinking. This is energetic alignment. You're tuning your frequency to match the frequency of abundance. Then, later that day, take one action that moves you toward those goals. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be real. Send that email. Make that phone call. Research that opportunity. Update that profile. Apply for that position. The universe responds to movement. When you move, it moves with you. And here's something else that's important. Don't just focus on receiving. Focus on giving as well. One of the most powerful ways to activate abundance is through generosity. When you give, you demonstrate to the universe that you trust there's more where that came from. You break the scarcity mindset that says you have to hoard what you have. You open yourself to the flow of giving and receiving that characterizes true prosperity. On March 16th, find a way to give. It doesn't have to be money, although it can be. It can be your time, your attention, your expertise, your kindness. Help someone who needs it. Share something valuable. Make a donation to a cause you care about. The act of giving creates space for receiving. It's a cosmic law. What you send out comes back multiplied. Venus in Taurus especially appreciates tangible acts of generosity. Taurus is an earth sign, concerned with the physical world, so your giving should be practical and real. Buy someone a meal. Pay for someone's coffee. Leave a generous tip. Send a gift to a friend. These small acts of material generosity create ripples in the energetic field that attract material abundance back to you. Now let's talk about what happens after March 16th. The alignment is powerful, but it's not the end of the story. It's the beginning. Jupiter will continue moving through Gemini until June 2026. Venus will continue her journey through Taurus until March 30th. The North Node will remain in Pisces until January 2025. This means the energy we're tapping into on March 16th is part of a larger cycle. It's a peak moment within an extended period of opportunity. Your job is to ride the wave. Stay alert to the opportunities that continue to appear in the weeks and months ahead. Keep taking aligned action. Keep following your intuition. Keep trusting the process. The universe has opened a door for you. How far you walk through that door is up to you. I also want to remind you that astrology is not deterministic. The planets don't control your life. They reflect patterns and possibilities. They show you when conditions are favorable. But you always have free will. You always have choice. March 16th offers extraordinary potential. But that potential only becomes reality through your conscious participation. Some people will read about this alignment and do nothing. They'll think it's interesting, maybe even exciting, but they won't take action. And for them, March 16th will pass like any other day. Other people will take this information seriously. They'll prepare. They'll set intentions. They'll take action. They'll stay open to synchronicities. And for them, March 16th could mark a turning point they'll remember for years. The difference between these two groups isn't luck. It's not fate. It's choice. It's the decision to engage with the cosmic energy rather than passively observe it. The universe is offering you a gift. Whether you unwrap it is entirely up to you. Before we close, I want to leave you with one final thought. The Great Multiplier alignment on March 16th is not just about money. Yes, financial abundance is a major theme, but the deeper invitation is about stepping into your destiny. It's about recognizing that you're here for a reason. You have gifts to share, You have a unique contribution to make. And when you align with that truth, when you start living from your purpose rather than just surviving, abundance becomes a natural